Hello, friends, and welcome to Kurt Bergland's Baseball World. Every Monday at 10 a.m., I review a book. Could be fiction, could be nonfiction, could be out of print, could be way out of print, could be hot off the presses, and it could be somewhere in the middle. This one is way out of print. It's called Frank, the First Year. It's by Frank Robinson with the very famous sports writer Dave Anderson, and it is a diary and a insightful, frankly, no pun intended, look at Frank Robinson's 1975 season, his debut season as a manager. He was, of course, the first black manager in baseball, and this book goes through the circumstances of his hiring. In fact, it even goes into the circumstances of his acquisition by the Indians from the California Angels. The circumstances surrounding his hiring, and then the off-season leading up to the 1975 spring training, and then a diary, really, of the 1975 season for the Indians. The 1975 season for the Cleveland Indians was an improvement over where they had been in recent years, and 76 would be even better. Frank Robinson's observations about being the first black manager, but also being a manager in a very challenging Cleveland Indians clubhouse in 1975 is a really interesting read. And I realized as I was reading it that it's tough to find a diary account of a major league season anymore. They've kind of fallen out of vogue. I suppose one of the reasons is that when you're writing in a diary format, it can be tough to keep the focus on the theme of the book. But in this book, the theme is pretty straightforward, and that is that Frank Robinson, even though he had managerial experience, he's learning the ropes of what it is to be a major league manager, and he's doing it with some of the most trying major leaguers that were currently active in 1975. He's also managing his way through a pennant race, and the Indians were kind of on the periphery of that race, but in the race nonetheless throughout the season. So there's a lot of layers to the book, and I found it to be very interesting. There's definitely a lot here on his relationship with Gaylord Perry, but also interesting developments with his relationships with Oscar Gamble, George Hendrick, Buddy Bell certainly, and the young pitchers that were coming along, among them Dennis Eckersley. So there's a lot in this book. The good news is that if you can find it, it's not going to be very expensive. I found it for about $6. It is, a book that does have pictures. There is no index. There's a few pictures in the book. It is about 260 pages long, 270 pages long. The publisher is Holt, Reinhardt, and Winston for this particular edition, and you're probably going to have the most luck getting your hands on a former library edition of the book. But really an interesting read. If you're a fan of Frank Robinson, or if you're a fan of 1970s baseball, there's a lot in here to like. Even if you don't necessarily agree with all of the decisions that he made and Indians' leadership in the front office were responsible for making, it's still, there's a learning, you learn about him as he learns about the job and about his ball club. I think it's a very interesting read. I recommend it. The copyright date, I should also tell you, and that is 1976. Dave Anderson, Frank Robinson, Frank the First Year. Excellent read. I recommend it. I'll be back next Monday with another baseball book review at 10 a.m. I hope you have a good Monday. Don't forget to click the link in the description for this video to find out more about becoming a member of my channel. In the weeks to come, I'm going to be adding more book content for members of the channel, and you might want to be checking that out and keep an eye on things. It's an exciting development on my channel, and there's a lot of people taking advantage of it. Thank you again. Have a good Monday, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a good day. So long, everybody.